My research question is about how are female images used in socialist propaganda to construct a utopian, how to generate a new visual language to reverse the old way of viewing. My keywords are based on the socialist cultural background surrounding female, propaganda, and utopian. They corresponded to three small problems respectively. My intention is politic design often has various ideological or psychological effects on people under the control of those in power. Political propaganda is government's media for the masses and reflects the social and cultural roots in depth. Its design style can also reflect social aesthetics and artistic trends at that time. I found that although feminism has been missing for a long time in Chinese history, female images in politic propaganda have often appeared. Female images and female symbols are used extensively in those visions. What did the female face and body become? Is it emotional sustenance to gain sympathy, or it is a metaphor for desire, consumption? The female imagery is used as a tool to play a special role in constructing a socialist utopia. As a female designer who grew up on the Chinese cultural background, I hope to analyze and study the various hidden content contained in those old socialist propaganda images from a personal perspective and try to construct a new design language to reverse the way of viewing. This is my critical context review. I found 3 inquiries, and they correspond to 3 different directions. They are socialist botany, socialist color system, and sketch of social realism. I also tried different research and experiment methods. These 7 visual experiments I did in 3 inquiries. I will briefly introduce 4 of them. I found that a flower is an object closely connected with women, and it really appears in large area in images of non-film subjects. It really occurs in the political propaganda of other countries. In addition to metaphor, I think it also has a gender identity. I extracted many flowers in the sample and then found their names, place of origin, and meaning in the search software. Combining the theory of cartography, the pattern of those flowers is transformed into a figure of similar to the map. But these maps do not exist. They're only used as a metaphor for a perfect society and does not exist at all. I try to keep the flower in the origin position, the original political propaganda posters, and superimpose it. Each one represents a different time and metaphor. The pattern composed of flowers is superimposed in the space and become a banner, breaking through times and imprisonment. For me, this is also a declaration of freedom. About this one, I used Pantone color recognition software to extract the colors of these images and reorganize them. I tried to combine 3 different colors and some text that seems irrelevant to the politics. This words comes from an interview with some contemporary female. I asked them what desires they had for life or themselves. These ideas and combined with these colors become posters, and then in response to the previous propagandas, like forming a cloud loop. At the same time, I also want to explore whether those colors are inherently political. Which color combination is more radical? The last visual experiment is about the relationship between imagination and reality. I called it sketch of social realism. In the previous timeline drawing process, I found that many images can correspond to the historical periods. Among them, nearly 20 years have been a period of extreme chaos in Chinese society. I found some old photos which the same time as the posters. The nakedness of reality and the beauty of the fiction form a cruel contrast. I combine the two spaces with screen printing, distinguish them with representative red and blue. But that is my secondary research. It includes practice context review and literature reviews. I will only talk about the one of the works in practice context. A very important reference is from the Chinese artist Wu Shanzhuan. The big character posters is written in terms of daily life. The three basic colors of the propaganda prints during the Cultural Revolution, period of red, black, and the white smeared on the paper. Although there is no Cultural Revolution slogan, but it gives a strong sense of Cultural Revolution to the people. Literature Reviews has several books corresponding to three inquiries. The first one is mainly from the Chinese propaganda posters and uncommon people. This inquiry mainly comes from the politics of design and art and politics. The last one comes from those three books. They are utopias, social psychology, and graphic agitation. Through the research, I have determined the keywords I am interested in and clarified the scope and boundaries. Learned new methods. Through visual experiments, I got a lot of new ideas and got some elements that can be used as important materials for the future research. But I feel that reading and writing are not enough for me, as well as materials texting and the use of studios is not enough. I hope that the following thinking and attempts will be broader in the future. There are three main lines that I want to continue to research. First one is the images of women in the socialism. In the socialist train of thought, collectivism is usually the only aspect of legitimacy of their speeches. In this, not only individuals are concealed, but there are also a large number of women as a narrow emotion to best use. The purpose of this research is to point out the violence and the correct and reverse it. Graphic agitation. Collective energy is usually used as a necessary unity force for socialist ideology, and the mobilization and inflammatory of visual language are important qualities of its political propaganda. Use the poster and cover in the publication as a clue to continue to analyze and investigate. From the perspective of social formation, power structure, and ideology, analyze how design as an aesthetic method can change people's beliefs and behaviors from the perspective of the psychology and consciousness. The current state of political propaganda method is centralized countries and the practice problem and demands of independent female designers. Like a case study of female designer in the social movement, it's like a real person as a clue, analyze of their emotion and person working methods, connected the ground history. My goal is the production of the source code of the new order means that a whole set of historical context construction, because analyze, statistical analyze, and interviews can produce a new order. This order points to a new type of female design visual languages. This is not the only way to express this clue, but a possible solution. The resource that will be used are mainly printed materials, include publications and fabric. In addition, I will consider to add the form of video. About the audience and output, I think is the masses of community social background, especially female, generate a specific language for the general public and use the design language as a medium to create a new series of propaganda. I hope to refer to the form of library print web by so as to make the publication spread more quickly. In the end, this is my plan for my future work. I hope I can do it well. That's all. Thank you for listening.